Hello, YouTube. I'm going to be doing something a little different with my content. Recently, I've been building a lot of Magic decks, Magic the Gathering more specifically, if you don't know the game. And I just thought like I'd share some of them with you today. So the first deck I'm going to be showing you ever is going to be Black Sacrifice. Now you can find the deck lists in the description. Right here, I'm just going to go down, show you the cards first, talk about how it works, and talk about strengths and weaknesses with the deck that I've noticed. So we're going to go most expensive mana cost to least expensive. So first we're running one Sheoldred. Sheoldred is a pretty much game-winning card in this deck. 7 for 6/6 with Swamp Walks are really good if you're going against a black deck. It also, at the beginning of your upkeep, you resurrect a creature from your graveyard, and then at the beginning of your opponent's upkeep, they sacrifice a creature. Has very good synergy with two other cards in the deck, which I'll talk about later. That is by far the most expensive price-wise and mana cost-wise. I just put in the deck because I felt, I had two copies, I might put one in this one. Next, one copy of Liliana Vess. She's a Planeswalker, 5 mana for 5 loyalty. Her +1 ability makes someone discard. Her -2 is basically a vampiric tutor without the life loss, and her ultimate puts all creatures from all graveyards under your control. Very, very good with the sacrifice deck. Next, 2 Rakshasa Gravecallers. 5 mana for a 3/6 with Exploit. Exploit means when it enters the battlefield, you can sack another creature, and it does something. In this case, if you sack a creature when it enters, you create 2 2/2s. Very, very strong card. We've run 2 of those. Next, 1 Grave Pact. Whenever any creature you control is put into a graveyard, each other player sacrifices a creature. This is a very strong card in my opinion, especially if you're going against Mill. It doesn't say from the battlefield, so if you're going against Mill, they're going to have to sack any creatures they own quite often. Next is the Swamps. We are running 1. Time for the Swamp Counting Marathon. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and that's it. 20 swamps are a bit light on the swamp side. I know it's below like what a deck should typically have on the lower range, but we're kind of going for aggro, so it doesn't really matter. Also, I forgot to mention, there is an infinite combo in this deck, so that's pretty cool. Next, Smothering Abomination. 4 mana for a 4/3 devoid flying creature, which says at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, draw a card. Extremely, extremely good card. It generates a lot of value. We are running 3 of those. The only reason we don't run a 4th is because, well, you need to have some creatures on the battlefield. Next, we are running Read the Bones. So 3 mana, scry 2, then draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. Very, very powerful card. You get a scry 2 if you don't like them. Hey, you draw 2 cards. Luck. It will be on your side most of the time. Running 3 of those. Next, this is where I get to the life gain part of the deck. We're running a Vampire Nighthawk. This is in my opinion, pretty dumb card. 3 mana for a Flying Death Touch Lifelink 2/3. Very, very good for blocks. That's really all I'd suggest using it for, unless you can get some value out of swinging with it. Otherwise, save for blocks. Very good blocker. We are running 4 of those. Next, one of the infinite combo pieces, Snubs Altar. This is another kind of expensive card in the deck, but it really helps with everything in the sacrifice. So 3 mana, sacrifice a creature, add 2 colorless to your mana pool. Not only does this help with the infinite combo, it lets you sacrifice creatures at instant speed, meaning if someone's going to exile something, sack it instead and get some mana. Very, very valuable card. We are running 3 of these. The only reason we don't run a 4th is, well, it doesn't really bring any benefit to have more than 1 on the battlefield. Next, another part of the infinite combo, Mere Retriever. 2 mana for a 1/1 that says when it's put into a graveyard from play, return another target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Now, I'll be explaining the infinite combo later, but that's part of it. We are running 4 Mere Retrievers. Next, Zulaport Cutthroat. 2 mana for a 1/1. When Zulaport Cutthroat or another creature dies, you control dies. each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. This is part of the draining cards. It's pretty good just when you're sacrificing creatures to get some life gain, do some damage without swinging in. Yep, we're running 4 of those. Next, Blood Artist does the same thing except it's a 0/1, and this also applies to your opponent's creatures. Very, very good card. We are running 4 of those. Next, Gifted Aetherborn, 2 black for Death Touch Lifelink 2/3. Again, pretty decently strong card. I wouldn't suggest using it for attacks, mostly for defense on the ground. We're running 4 of those. We're getting to the end of the deck, only 2 more cards to go. We're running Crest of the Gravelord, 1 mana enchantment. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you put a quest counter on it, and then you remove 3 quest counters and sacrifice it. Create a 5/5 zombie. Very, very strong when a lot of creatures are being put into graveyards from play. We're running 3 of those. Lastly, Mortikian Beetle. 1 mana for a 1/1. Not too good. Well, look at the text. Whenever a player sacrifices a creature, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Mortikian Beetle. Not a lot of people kill this early on. They don't see the threat, but it is very, very strong. So I really suggest this is the unsung hero of the deck right here, the Beetle. Beetle, Pumpkin Needle. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the infinite combo. So right here appears my battlefield, this is my library, and this is my graveyard. Now if you paid attention before, if you're an adept player, you will know the infinite combo, but read the text on this carefully. Sacrifice a creature, add instant speed, really good. Add 2 to your mana pool. You know it costs 2? That's right. Mere Retriever, 2 colorless. So when we sacrifice this to Snubs Altar, we can pay for a new one. And it just so happens, when we do sacrifice Mere Retriever, it returns an artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So that dies, gets sacked, I return this to my hand. With the 2 colorless mana Snubs Altar generated, I can cast this again. Now, this is the engine for all of the infinite combos. The first infinite combo requires you have Zulaport Cutthroat. Remember, whenever a creature you control dies, drain everyone for 1 life. So if I do this, I'm going to sack Mere Retriever, Snubs Altar, get some mana, drain everyone for 1, recast it, do the same, sack, drain, recast, sack, drain, recast. This is the first iteration of what the infinite combo looks like. You could also, instead of playing a Zulaport Cutthroat, go into the graveyard. You can play Blood Artist. Because there are 8 of them in total, you're not going to be short of any way to drain your opponents. I'm making a mess. So that's the first infinite combo. That is the kill move. That's what you want to be searching for in the deck. Next, we're going to talk about the Beefy Beetle. That's right, Mortikian Beetle. It says, oh my god, I'm so messy. It says, whenever a player sacrifices a creature, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Mortikian Beetle. This means you cast it, and what do? You sack a bunch. You sack until there is no more life. You sack until your beetle has scavenged every single plane in the multiverse. You sack it until you get about infinity beetle, swing in, either eat one of their creatures or just win the game on the spot. Sadly, there's no way to give trample, but if you want, you could be a meme and run thud and just win the game like that. Get out of here, Beetle. Your time is over. Now we're going to go over the board wipe. So we have a kill move, we have an infinite beetle, and now we have a board wipe with Grave Pact. So Grave Pact, 4 mana enchantment, focus camera. It says, whenever any creature you control is put into any graveyard, each other player sacrifices a creature. So this works as a board wipe, not only for normal creatures, but also creatures with indestructible. Because if you didn't know, indestructible creatures do still die if they're sacrificed. So, sack this, do that. Oh, trigger goes on the stack. Well, trigger goes on before I cast it. Everyone sacks a creature. Well, guess what? With 2 colorless, I'll cast it again. Sack again. Everyone sack a creature. You do this until there are no creatures, and if you have Mortikian Beetle on the battlefield, you have a big guy to swing in with. Everyone will be at your mercy. Now, the last card is Smothering Abomination. This is the one with a kind of steep cost, 4 mana for a 4/3 flyer. Pretty decent, but that text, whenever you sacrifice a creature, draw a card. This is going to be the big boy of the deck. If you can get this engine going, you'll sack it. That goes on the stack. Put this into your hand. Draw a card. Ooh, I just got Sheldred. I pretend I have the mana to cast it. Dump that on the field. Then if I really want, could sack this, draw a card, and cast everything in my hand. If you don't have the cards you need to get the kill move or the board wipe or anything, use this card to search your deck. Because this, if you can get this combo going, get all these cards out of here, the mirrors and that card, you can find a way to win the game. If you have this, you can board wipe, which is always great. If you have this, you can create a big beetle. And if you get one of these two, you can just drain everyone's life. Thank you all for watching. This is the first deck I've posted, and I hope you really enjoy playing with this. The deck list will be in the description, the price if I manage to get to that. But thanks for listening. Now, before I go, I just want to quickly talk about the strengths and weaknesses of this deck. The deck does really well against mid-range and aggro because it has a lot of life gain, and you can kill a lot of your opponent's creatures. This deck, however, is not very good against control. Control is what makes... It's basically the bane of the deck, because if you're going against control, they could either exile Snubs Altar, counter you casting this, get rid of that by killing it. And there are also alternate win conditions, such as Sheldred. She's just a win condition on her own. A Liliana, if you ultimate her, which never happens. And Mortikian Beetle. Those are your alternate win conditions. And also getting some Quest of the Great Wars. Those give you big, beefy 5/5s, which do help for blocking. Anyway, that's just the first deck out of many I promise to show you. I'm going to try and do this weekly. Of course, I don't have that many magic boxes. I only have, like, what? 3, 4, 5, 6. I only have 6 magic boxes, so I don't have like all the cards in the world, and I don't have money to constantly make these. But I'll try. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like. Leave a comment in the description how you think this deck could be improved, and if you want me and what decks you want me to talk about. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.